Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sobia Liaquat and today I'm going to teach you the topic active and passive voice in past continuous tense. In order to start the lesson, first of all, I'll just tell you how we are going to go through that lesson. First of all, I will explain you about active and passive voice that you have done it previously. So I just review the concept, what is active and what is passive. Then we'll do the review of past continuous tense and then conversion. And later on we'll do an exercise and I'll share your homework as well. So dear students, let's start with active and passive voice. First of all, what is active voice? Active, where we are focusing on the subject, the doer, the one who is doing the action. According to the definition, if we'll see that, in the active voice, the subject is the actor. So here we are focusing on the actor, the doer, the subject. Subject, we have he, she, it, any name, any object, any noun. It performs action of the main verb. Actually, that subject is the main doer. Then, it is the most direct and common way to construct sentences. Mostly, we are constructing sentences as per active voice. For example, she was writing a letter. She, as a subject, was writing. Who is writing? The subject, the doer. Here, she was writing a letter. Subject is she. Subject is she. We can further explain different sentences. For example, I am going to school. Here, I is the subject, the doer. And this sentence is what? A simple sentence and active voice. It is in active voice. Okay, let's further discuss that next. Okay, after active voice, then what is passive voice? Passive means when the focus is not on subject, the focus is on object. Let's define it. Focus on the receiver. Here, the subject of the sentence receives the one who receives the action, the object. For example, if I said that a letter was being, first of all I say that she was writing a letter. She, the focus was on she in active voice. But here, she was writing a letter. A letter is an object. Here we are focusing and we are starting it from letter. It means we are focusing on the object. Here, a letter was being written by her. Here, subject is not the main focus. Here the focus is on object. So this is main difference between active and passive voice. In active voice, we are focusing on the subject, but in passive voice, we are focusing on the object. So the general structure is subject plus form of to be. We can use it participle, and then I will further explain you when we are doing the conversion how we are going to construct and make the structure of that active and passive voice. In order to further explain the concept, now move on to the past continuous tense. Today our main topic is active and passive voice in past continuous tense. For this we must have an understanding of what is past continuous tense. An ongoing action. Right now what I am doing? I am teaching. What you people are doing? You are studying. You are sitting. I am standing. These actions are actually going on. So past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is used to describe action that were ongoing or incomplete at a specific time. In the past, often setting the scene for another event. You can see the path as well. Yesterday evening, that action was started actually. Still it is ongoing and it was not done. But that was done in the past, at a specific time in the past. So it shows what? The past continuous tense. Now I am going to further explain you through my marker. So first of all, what is past continuous tense? As I have defined you already, that past continuous is ongoing action, but that was in the past. Now how we are going to make the structure of past continuous tense? Let's make the structure. Subject plus was, were. Past participle form and then object. Here, simple sentence, an active sentence, active voice that is focusing on the subject. Let's take an example. I was standing in a queue. Okay. He was purchasing a dress for the party. With I, we are going to use was. He was, she was, it was. But with you, we, they, we are going to use were. You were watching a movie. They were playing outside, or they were playing cricket. So these all are what? These all are the examples of past continuous tense. Past continuous tense. Again the structure we are going to review it. Subject plus was, were, then verb, past participle form plus first form and ing plus object. I was standing in a queue. He was purchasing a dress for the party. You were watching a movie. They were playing cricket. It was eating meat. It, we can use it for any object. We are going to use it for animals as well. So this is past continuous tense. Now let's start with the structure. This tense is formed, you can see here. Subject with I, he, she, it. We are going to use what? Was. Then verb plus ing form, playing. And object is what? I was playing football. He was playing football. She was playing football. And it was playing football. With you, we, they, you were playing football. We never say you was. You were playing football. We were playing football and they were playing football. Let's move on to the next. Okay, now how we are going to convert the active voice of past continuous tense into passive voice. These are the 3 steps we are going to do. First of all, we'll swap the roles. Swap the roles, the object of the active sentence become the new subject I will show it on the board as well. Then we will modify the verb, and then that subject will come in the objective form. For example, I will share the structure first, then further explain you. Okay. Past continuous tense. In active form, we can say that is in active form where we are focusing on the subject. Subject, this is the structure, plus was, were, verb. Verbing I am writing, that means verb plus ing, and then object. Now, how we are going to convert this active voice into passive voice structure? Let's start. We'll start from the object. Here object will come first. In passive voice, our focus is on the receiver. Object first, then we are going to use was, were according to the object. If it is object is in singular form, so we will use was. If it is in plural form, we will use were. Then, and this is past continuous tense, in the structure we are going to use being in the passive voice. Then you know that in passive voice the verb will always come in the third form. Then by and subject, but this subject will come in objective form. In the same way, the object will come in subjective form. How? Let's do one example. One example is here on the screen. She was cleaning the room. Okay. She was cleaning the room. You can see the structure. She, subject, was, verb ing, object. Up how? Just check the passive voice. Here the room, that is object. It comes first, the room. Object, then you can see was, being, verb, third form. Here we are not writing cleaning, we are writing the third form of clean, that is cleaned. Then by and not she, we are writing the objective form of she, that is her. So she was cleaning the room. The room was being cleaned by her. Okay, we'll do further example. For example, I was eating an apple. I was eating an apple. Now we are going to convert. How we are going to convert? Our focus is on object. So we can say that. Let's start. An apple was, then you can see the structure as well. Being, then verb, third form. It means we are not going to write eating. Eaten. Eaten by I. No. in the objective form by me. So, I was eating an apple. That is active voice. And how we are going to convert it? An apple was being eaten by me. That is in passive voice. So, in this way, we are going to convert the active voice into the passive voice. The structure is given to you. You can remember the structure. You cannot learn the structure. Subject plus was were, verb, ing and object. And then when you are going to convert it into passive voice, your focus should be on object, the receiver, object, then, and you are going to write the object in subjective form. For example, if object is given in form of her, him, so you will not start from her, him. You can start from she, he, as per the sentence. Okay. We'll do some more examples. Okay, these are 2 to 3 examples. First one, the case one is house, painting, active. They were painting the house. They were painting the house. Up, how they have converted? The house. They started from the house. The house was being painted by them. They. Subject was they, and now further we have converted into the objective form. They, them. Case 2. He was fixing the car. Here, car is the object. He is the subject. Let's start from the car. The car was being fixed by him. Here, him is in objective form. The other one, we were reading the newspaper. We. Subject, object. Here the newspaper was being read by us. Us, it is actually the subject, but in objective form. So, there are many examples here. One thing you have to note down that if a proper object is given, then we can convert it into passive voice. If proper object is not given, we cannot convert. Conversion is not possible. I'll give you example for that as well. Okay, where conversion is not possible. For example, I was going to school. Here, this is subject, verb, but this is not object. To school, it is a phrase. We can say that with that preposition. So, it is not a proper object. So, we cannot convert it into passive voice. It's not possible. I, or we can use any other subject now. You were getting up late. You were, that is subject. The verb. No proper object. Here object must be a noun, a pronoun. But here late, you were getting up late. No proper object, so conversion is not possible. I was running slowly, or we can say that I was writing slowly. We'll make a proper sentence. I was writing slowly. Here, I as a subject, writing as a verb, but slowly, it's an adverb. It's not a proper object. So, conversion is not possible. Okay, the passive voice is a strategic choice used for emphasis or clarity in the specific context, where we are emphasizing the action result. Because when we are talking about the passive voice, our more focus is on the object, on the receiver. Okay, when we are focusing on the receiver, focusing on the object, here object is the main focus. When the focus should be on what happened, not who did it, who was actually the doer, the subject. Our focus is in passive voice was on what happened. The city council meeting was being broadcast live. The documents were being prepared when I arrived. Here the focus was on the document, not the doer. Okay? Unknown or unimportant agents. If the doer of the action is unknown. Okay, for example, I said someone was stealing my pen. I don't know about the person, someone. So the ancient ruins were being discovered over time. In some sentences, the doer was actually unknown. My phone was being stolen on the bus. I don't know who took my phone. So here the agent was unknown. So in passive voice, why we are choosing the passive voice? Because here the focus was not the subject. The focus was on the object, on the receiver, not the doer. Maybe we don't know about the subject. Maybe we don't know about the doer. Who has done that act? Our focus is that what happened? What happened? So let's more practice with that exercise. Convert to passive voice. The chef was cooking the meal. Again, we'll do more and more practice of that. Start from the object. The meal was being cooked by the chef. The chef was the subject. Object. Here, the meal was being cooked by the chef. The gardener was watering the plants. The plants were, up here we will focus. Although you can see here the subject was in singular and you have used was. But see the passive voice. The plants were. You are not going to use the same helping verb which was used in that active voice. You will use it as according to that subject now. If we are using the object here, according to that object, we are going to use the helping verb. The plants were being watered by the gardener. I never say that the plants was being, because the plants, it's in plural, were being watered by the gardener. The students were reading the books. Here, students, the books. The books were being read by the students. Then, the team was building the bridge. The bridge was being built by the team. So, In this way, you can understand how we are going to convert the passive active voice into passive voice in past continuous tense. I have a worksheet for you as well. Now we have to discuss one more thing, that is in your paper pattern, how many questions related to this active passive voice comes. First question comes from the tenses, that is correction of verb. Okay, I think this is of 4 to 5 marks. 3 objective parts are actually coming from this section. How? One for active passive voice, it contains definitely all the types of tenses we have used. One in the correction of verb, and thirdly we are using it for form of verbs as well. For example, this is a practice exercise. For you people, you can practice with me. The children were playing cricket. Okay, we'll do the exercise here. Let's start with the first one. The children were playing cricket. Now, recall the structure. Recall the structure, how we have converted the active voice into passive voice. Let's start with the object. Now I'm using a different color. Let's start. With the object, cricket was, after that, being. Verb with the third form, played by the children. Now again, the children were playing cricket. Cricket was being played by the children. Let's go for the next one. I was drinking coffee. I was drinking coffee. Again, let's start with that object. Coffee was being, third form, drunk by, I in the objective form, me. Coffee was being drunk by me. The third one, he was cleaning his room. He was cleaning Let's start with his room was cleaned by him. He was cleaning his room. We have started from his room. His room was being cleaned by him. The workers were building a house. The workers were building a house. Let's start from the object, a house. That is singular, so we will use was being built, the third form, by the workers. Next one, the students were discussing the project. The students were discussing the project. Again, we will start from the object, the project. Was being discussed by the Okay, next. It was shining brightly. Okay, that is a tricky one. Now you are going to tell me that. Is it possible to convert it into passive voice? It was shining brightly. Here. Subject, verb, no object. This is adverb. So there is no object. So, what do you think that? I told you no, conversion is not possible. Because we don't have a direct and proper object. The last one. You are walking to school. You, subject. Walking, verb. But this to school. It is not a proper object. So we can say that here also the conversion is not possible because we do not have a proper object. So that's it for the exercise. We have done it and we have done plenty of exercises now. I have a homework for you as well. We have done with this. This is your homework. A quick explanation of this, how you are going to do it. This is a worksheet. Okay, children, how you are going to do it? Convert the following sentences from active to passive, as we have done a lot of practice. We have 3 to 4 sentences of this. You can convert it into passive voice. And then correction of error that is related to past continuous tense. For example, he was play football when it started to rain. He was play football when it started to rain. So you are going to correct it. You know that after he was not playing football. Mostly the correction of verb comes, either the verb was wrong or maybe the helping verb was not used properly. He was playing football. The same sentence comes here. Continue with the same sentence when it started to rain. Ab they were goes to school. Furthermore, you are going to continue with the same. Still, if you will find any problem, you can ask me. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.